Hi, my name is Gwen Mukes, and I would like to say, film is forever. I was born November 22nd, 1943, in the Colored General Hospital in Oklahoma City. And my mother stayed there for a week, and then after a week, that's when my cousin, Anthony, I call him Possum, took us out there to the country, Route 2, Box 60, Fallas, Oklahoma. And that's where I really grew up, out in the country, where I was the only child, and I had plenty of siblings, the ducks, the pigs, the calves, the horses. I had fun out there. I just ran crazy out there. I found those negatives in a box in Oklahoma City when I had gone there to clean up the house. And I don't want to throw anything away. My kids say that I'm a hoarder. And I say, I'm just an amateur historian. So I brought them back. I had no idea what was in the boxes. I'm one to say that perhaps I took the pictures, but I don't know. But they were a surprise, weren't they? History. I looked on the internet, and your business popped up first. So I thought, okay, I have no idea how much this is going to cost, but you can't really put price on history. So I took a chance, and I was very pleased with the work that you all did. I was surprised. It brought back a lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories. Our fight for the ability to sit at a drugstore at a counter and order a Coke, and to be able to eat, to not be treated like second-class citizens again, because that's what we were fighting for. All we really wanted when we went down on August 28th, 1958, was to sit at the counter and order a Coke and a hamburger. And they would not serve us. We were taught not to fight back. We believed in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s precepts. Do not turn your cheek the other way if they hit you. But they called us names, but we were not moved. We were there together in solidarity. We knew what we wanted to do. We were tired of not being able to change into clothes, to try our clothes on before we bought them. Back there then, you had to buy the clothes, take them home, and try them on. It was horrible. Oh, heavens. Photography is very, very important because it films accuracy. It is so important to take pictures now. I take pictures every time I get a chance using my iPhone because I don't want to lose anything, and I have maybe over 8,000 pictures on my phone. It tells the truth. It tells the story. But look at Emmett Till. His mother took pictures, or someone took pictures of him in the casket. That woke up a lot of people. My mother was very careful as to what I would read because she did not want to, I guess, put a damper on my psyche. But I would always slip and get the paper and read. I was an avid reader. As much as I can. One of those pictures was of us leaving the church. So it was very festive, but then it turned serious because we knew that eyes were going to be on us and we had to have a certain decorum. We had to act proper, like no loud talking, no chewing gum. We had to focus on where we were going. And so we walked and we tried to sit down, and people were shocked. The Jewish League really supported us also. And I found that odd. I thought, well, gee whiz, Jews look like they're whites, and they're supporting us. And we went into a church, and it was a white church. And I found where that church was. And I was nervous. I didn't want, and this was for a banquet, and I didn't want to eat because I didn't know how to properly eat the chicken. I was accustomed to eating the chicken like we do now, but there's a certain way you had to cut the chicken and then eat it. And there were new experiences for me being in this sit-in movement. I can relate to them. It's just sad. A lot of good things have come out of our sit-in protest movement. We never knew that it would be that important where it would go nationwide and then worldwide. It's sad when you think about the lives that have been lost, yet and still racism still prevails. And why? I was involved in the Rose Bowl parade. That was January 1st, 2020. And one of the ladies from Connecticut or either Massachusetts and I were talking, and she said, you know, we're all cousins. And I said, you're right. We're all related. We all have blood, and I can't see why you would want to deny me my rights. And you have your rights? Come on now. Something is wrong, and we're all related, but you don't see it? We are. It would behoove each one of us to be kind to one another. The NAACP, and I usually would ask my students or their parents, where do you live? Do you live in a segregated neighborhood? No. Are you able to go and eat if you want to in any restaurant? Yeah. Is your child able to come to this school? Yeah. That is because of the NAACP, and I would encourage you to join. Support the NAACP. I would encourage you to join the NAACP because the NAACP is for all of us. Oh yeah, she was a task person. She stayed on task all the time. She wrote a play, and I don't really remember being in the play, but we went to the National Convention in New York City, and New York City was where I first felt free. We were able to go and eat in restaurants. We were able to go in a store and try on clothes. So with that experience, we decided we're going to do something about it. That was before our sit-in at Kat's Drugstore. She would have classes on Saturdays. And she would teach us how to hold our head up high. Don't look down. Because I was accustomed to looking down. You did not look a white person in the eye. She taught us to pay our bus fare up front and not get off and go to the back. She taught us these. She drilled that in our head. She taught us not to say, I don't know how it felt. She worked with us where we did not have all of those ahs, all of those pauses with the She rebuilt the confidence of us. I can speak for myself. She rebuilt my confidence, yes. Because of her, I still use some of her principles that she taught us. And it was strange the first time I looked a white person in the eye. And I thought, wow, I've got power. Something that minute people take for granted. But she worked with us on Saturday mornings. That's a good question. It is the same because we still have racism. The voting, it's awful. I believe there are 12 states who have rolled back the voting law where they are keeping minorities from voting. How dare they? It makes me want to go down there and protest. But I'm here having a nice time in California acting. But it's still the same, just different cloth, different clothing. But it's still the same. But we do have to fight for our rights to vote. We do have to do that. Because of the alliance that Mrs. Looper had with the police department. She met with the police department. She met with Mrs. John A. Brown, who was the wife of the owner. She owned John A. Brown department store. And it was just common courtesy, I guess you could say, where she stated her point and she listened to their side and they came to some type of agreement, I would think. But from what I understand, our sit-in movement was the only movement that did not wreak of violence. We had no violence. Now, Mrs. Looper went to jail, perhaps about 20-some times. I never did go to jail. I was afraid to go to jail, but I would have gone to jail. A lot of people don't realize that the sit-in movement really started in Oklahoma City. They always equate North Carolina students with it. But really, there was a group before us in Wichita, Kansas. But they did not have the permission of the national headquarters to have this sit-in movement. And after one day of sitting, they integrated Dockham Drugstore in Wichita, Kansas. Then it came down to Oklahoma City, and we did have the blessing of the national NAACP to have our sit-in movement. And I was talking to one of my students right before I came, and she was from Wichita, but she had never heard of that. Things are kind of quiet about history, and that's one reason why I like to teach history, to let kids know that they make history every single day. History can be fun. I used to hate history when I was growing up. In fact, in high school, our assignment in high school was to memorize the names of all of the white Supreme Court justices. And I asked my teacher, why should I have to learn their names? What are they doing for me? What are they doing for us? Nothing. But I still learned them, and as soon as that test was over, I forgot their names. The young lady who was, I don't know if she's still up there, on the corner. I love her. I took her some, yes, Sepulveda and Ventura. And she was out there, rain, snow, hail, sleet, rain. She was out there. She never gave up. And I promised that I was going to do something for her, and I've forgotten what that was. But I took her some McDonald's gift cards to show my appreciation. And I think I still have her number in my phone, but I really admire her. On the national level, so many people I admire. And I don't want to start naming them, but I have to mention this young lady on Sepulveda and Ventura. Kudos to her. Don Simmons, he was the photographer. And I believe that he is deceased now, but he took all of our pictures. He took our high school pictures, our prom pictures. He was there, he was it. And I would love to meet his descendants and tell them how much I appreciate Mr. Simmons taking pictures of us. I hope that they still have those pictures. I hope they have not thrown them away. But Don Simmons, yes. In fact, I looked to see whether or not he was still in business when I was there in March, I think, of last year. And I don't think I saw his name anywhere. So I think that he's deceased now.
So he was like the main photographer?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. He was the main photographer. I'm certain there were other photographers, but he was the exclusive photographer that took all the pictures. Mm-hmm. He was the go-to photographer. First of all, there's the NAACP, the youth chapter. I would also suggest National Congress of Black Women. I call that the Shirley Chisholm group. I am a member of that group, and we do a lot of things for the community. I have since taken a little leave because I'm trying to preserve my health. Also, another organization I belong to is the National Association of University Women, and that is a predominantly African American organization. And the members there are in tune with the health of everyone. And so you can take your pick. A lot of these organizations were started by the premier ladies of the century. Ladies like Ida B. Wells, Mary McLeod Bethune. She was a formidable force, and that is a person that everyone needs to know about, Mary McLeod Bethune. She stood up to the KKK. They threatened to burn her school down. She started a school in Daytona Beach on a landfill, a little mountain of a landfill. And she's interesting because she gathered up the crates and boxes, and they became the desk for her kids. And she rented an old shack, and that's where 5 kids, 4 girls and 1 boy, her son, started out. And she made pies, sweet potato pies, and she sold them, and that was how she built up the school. Right now I'm working on trying to memorize my lines for this audition on Monday. Yes, I have been working on my uncle's book. He wrote a book for us, and I would like to write a script. I've started writing a script, and then I stopped. It's 3 Frontier Women is the name of it, and he talks about how our family was from originally South Carolina, and then when the slaves were set free January 1st, 1863, that's when they walked to North Carolina, and they worked for this real nice white family who were sympathetic to the slaves' plight. And that was how we came up with our surname of Walker. So I am trying to write a screenplay for that. Never done it before. Oh, get out of here. You are so sweet. Oh, wow. I think that this is Marilyn Looper here. I think she's the only one. Just by looking at her eyes and the eyeglasses, I think that might be Marilyn Looper. But I don't know any of these kids. Thank you. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I have a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King and me together, shaking hands. And I just took it down off my wall the other day because I am moving on a temporary basis to someplace else, and then I'll be back in about 2 months. But yeah, this is going to go up on my wall in my new digs. I love this. This is so sweet of you.
This film is forever.